Hello, my friends. Bogdan is here, and today I'm going to be discussing a quite interesting topic. What kind of knowledge of a client does a slot provider have? So we all know that now that markets are closing are opening in the US and closing somewhere in the Europe, the issues of activation, of retention, of churn rate are one of the most prominent one, and this is where the most of the money are made now. So working with the customers base, increasing activation, decreasing the churn rate, uh, improving the retention is in the focus of intention of many software solutions. It is actually the point where mergers and acquisitions really emerge because someone can do it better and they would buy the smaller ones. So this is a very good thing, but it mostly comes up to casino operators or bookmakers. When it comes to slot providers, my question here is: do we have even an understanding of mm, how the state of players' knowledge is actually uh, has been demonstrated in the slot providers world? Do they know who are the players? Do they know them in social categories, in age, uh, in terms of age, in terms of the preferences, in terms of money that players bring them, uh, which means what players are more profitable, what age, what gender, and so on, so on, so on. So it is actually this is like ABC of marketing of player retention and CRMs. But the problem is that slot providers do not have access to this data directly. So when I was interviewing some of them, the likes of Betsoft and so on, they were saying, yeah, absolutely. My question was, how good do you know your players? They say, yeah, absolutely. We have all the things that we need. We know everything. We talk to them. All right. So we uh, have focus groups. We have these YouTube channels and so on. So we even talk to to casino operators. They might share some data with them. Yeah, okay. But it doesn't address the central question: how actually slot providers are taking the data and how well do they know the players to be able to respond to the current situation and to the evolving tastes of the players. So my claim here is that actually um, it is quite strange not to face your client directly. So slot providers have this blind spot here. They actually do not know the the whereabouts of the players. And this is one of the central problems here in the industry, which really puts a brake on its development. Um, so I will make several claims here and probably try to discuss with you. Maybe you will agree or disagree with me here. So the first claim is that, in my opinion, slot providers do not really know the players. They have other ways to try to make focus, to make the optics work better, but in practical terms they do not actually know who are the core players. um, so these are several several things to mention. First is when it comes to like older generation of gambling practitioners, of these slot providers, who also have resorts to casino data. I mean, the slot providers who have their own casinos. So the practitioners who worked on this site, they will tell you like this: uh, the core player of slot provider of slot machine games online are the people, mostly women, but also, so the difference is not significant, probably 60 to 40% in favor of women versus men. But those people are really in the late 40s, really closer to 50s and 60s, and these are the core players of online slot machines, and this is a category of people who makes the biggest portion of the money. So this kind of knowledge comes from people who are themselves an older generation playing whereabouts having the access to like such providers like Playtech and so on and so on. I will tag some of them here. But I personally have a great respect to them, and I personally fully agree with the conclusions. The second supporting idea is that when I was working with on the side of casinos, I have had access to the data, and I can testify that yeah, it is true that when you dig into the data, you try to see things up, you will find that yes, people mostly in the 50s and 60s would account for 80% of the whole money that has been generated in the casinos. This is what I saw with my own eyes. So it is actually the support. It supports the idea of all the generation of practitioners, but it's really, it might seem surprising to some of the observers who would think that okay, casinos is the game for new generation. Yeah, especially for a player who, especially the crypto casino. So there's a two distinct domains here. First is where money sits, and second is where the market goes. It's not actually the same idea here. So the money obviously sits due to economical reasons, due to reasons of the social and age structure of society. Money sits with the more elderly people. And also the overall idea of online casino gambling now is about shifting from the youth to the older ones.